All right, I'm going to talk about the development of theme with specific examples and details in my review. So everything in here that is green, this kind of puke green color here, has to do with my theme, which is recognition in the face of bigotry. So I first start introducing that theme up at the beginning when I'm introducing my conflict, but down here at the end of my second paragraph, this is kind of where I'm introducing the fact that really what this movie is about. Um, so I've identified there's a contrast between likable main characters and upbeat soundtrack and the discouraging bigotry that they're up against. So I first kind of hint at the theme here. And then later on throughout, as I tell more information about the story, I just drop in details that show examples of that theme. So the fact that they are in a segregated office tucked into a basement on the edge of Langley's campus, that shows bigotry. When Mrs. Mitchell tells Dorothy that she doesn't know why they're not assigning a supervisor, that shows bigotry. And then I get to the point where I could tell you so many examples of that showing up in the movie, these people not recognizing these three main characters, recognizing what they're able to do, brushing them aside. But instead of doing that, because that pretty much restates the entire movie, I wrote it over here, that I am naming a pattern. So I said characters like Mrs. Mitchell and engineer Paul Stafford seem to exist solely to dismiss the women's best ideas and ambitions. And then I give a couple more examples of that. I talk about down here that sometimes the prejudice is more direct. I talk about the separate coffee pot labeled as the colored coffee, and I put that in quotes. The security guard that kicks Dorothy and her kids out of the library. And I use the quote from Mary when she says, every time we get a chance to get ahead, they move the finish line. Again, here I'm sort of restating scenes that showed such inspiring women continuously brushed aside. And then down here, this is sort of my commentary as well, that these three women and their contributions at NASA that were hidden from textbooks and the American consciousness for decades. So we've got bigotry, and then we've got these women and their abilities kind of being ignored, their lack of recognition. And then down at the bottom, when I'm concluding and sort of really stating my theme statement, I said, however, I love the movie for the recognition it gave these three women and indirectly the hundreds more like them who were integral parts of the space program for decades without notice. The film, with its uplifting music and moments of hard-earned success, invites the viewers to be a part of the celebration of perseverance, confidence, and having the courage to speak up for yourself. So I introduce the theme of bigotry with my introduction of the conflict, and then I address scenes that show examples of bigotry, but not in a ton of detail, just giving specific details without restating the whole scene. I noticed trends and patterns like I did here of how different characters are acting. I did that here, and then I also did it here where I said the prejudice is more direct. And then at the end, I kind of summarized, overall, this is a movie about the recognition that it gives these women. And actually, I want to go in and add, speak up for yourself in the face of bigotry, because that sort of ties everything back together. Okay, so that is how I want you to talk about the development of theme or character with specific examples.